Hey, Mike, guess what?
What?
Mike, raging rivers, hungry bears, drastic avalanches, roaring seas, no matter how prepared you are, a walk in the woods can go from innocent to disaster in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
When pushed to their breaking point, humans are capable of astonishing things that you would never thought of possible.
Yeah.
Listen to In the Wild as they explore the most heroic, terrifying, and phenomenal stories of real people who survived the unsurvivable. Learn what went wrong, what went right, and how you can make it out alive if the worst case ever happened to you. In the Wild podcast reviews on Apple include Love Your Podcast from Laura. It's scary how relentless nature can be. I always enjoy this podcast at work. It keeps me on the edge of my seat. Or how about we go with Hiker 0001? Good stories and good narration. I like when there are sound effects that add to the ambience of the story. In the Wild podcast on Apple Podcasts and everywhere you get your podcast downloads.
Broadcasting across the nation from the East Coast to the West, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Oh, welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday person talking about technology, broadcasting across the nation with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. We welcome our radio audience of 35 million listeners to an hour of insightful technology with a little whiskey on the side. I'm Nathan Mumm. Welcome to our show today. We live stream during our show on 5 of the most popular platforms, including YouTube, Twitch TV, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. We encourage you to watch us live or visit us online at TechTime-Radio.com. Tweet us during the show at #TechTimeRadio, and we'll do our best to respond to the tweets on the air. You can also check out our new TikTok channel by looking for Tech Time Radio on the TikTok app. I'm your host, a technologist with 30 years of technology's expertise, working for Fortune 500 companies across the country. That's right. My co-host, Mike Corday, is an award-winning author, originally from Arizona. Mike's a human behavior expert living in the Seattle area with a master's degree in forensic psychology. Mike helps me from geeking out and provides an insight into human behavior and how it interacts with technology. We are two friends from different backgrounds, but bring the best technology show possible every week to our family, friends, and fans to enjoy. Welcome, everyone. Today is a special episode. This is our 125th episode. Do you realize that we are starting year number 4 for our podcast/radio show? Did you know that, Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's congratulations.
Yes.
So we have now done 3+ Halloween episodes. Your favorite episode, as last week's was, our scary episode. If you didn't catch that, make sure you go back and take a look at it at TechTimeRadio.com. Great episode. Nick Espinoza was on. We talked about all the scary things that are happening in our world. And now, again, we have a packed show. So let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
Today on Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, Elon Musk and the craziest technology purchase has a complete segment on our show today. There is so much going on with Elon Musk that we literally have to have one full segment just to talk about all the 50 articles that are going on. What's that?
Why do we want to talk about Elon so much?
Well, because you know what? He's kind of like that. Have you ever had a rock band that kind of broke up? The lead singer decides to either go do a solo album, and then they come on back together, and all that excitement happens.
Like Queen?
Sure, like Queen.
Mm-hmm.
So, Elon Musk is kind of like the Queen version of our superstar in our technology world.
Okay, I can't wait to see how you
how I do that?
How you figured this one out.
Okay, all right. Cyber criminals are already capitalizing on Twitter's ongoing verification chaos. So there's a whole thing about that. It's interesting. Guest Howie Zales, the founder of HJZ Productions, joins the show to talk about streaming services. The ICO warns of emotional analysis tech risks. Google Hangouts is game over, finally dead. And only Meta can be our technology fail of the week twice in 2 weeks.
No.
Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit, if we get to a Nathan Nugget, regarding Windows 10 version 22H2 is now available.
Okay.
Do you upgrade to Windows 11, or do you pass on upgrading? I'm actually going to kind of convince you not to upgrade to Windows 11.
You gonna do that?
I am. Yeah,
Okay.
That's right. All right. Of course, we have our standard episodes, including Mike's mesmerizing moment, This Week in Technology, and a possible Nathan Nugget. Finally, our pick of the day, whiskey tasting. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. As always, we have our whiskey tastings during the commercials to see if our selected whiskey pick of the day gets 0, 1, or 2 thumbs up at the end of the show. You'll want to make sure you listen all the way through to pick up a few interesting facts on our Marc's Mumbles that will make you go, Now it's time for the latest headlines in the world of technology.
What's happening in the world of technology? This is our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
All right, story number 1. Cybercriminals are already capitalizing on Twitter's ongoing verification chaos by sending phishing emails designed to steal passwords of unwanted users. The story comes to us from our Twitter correspondent, Darren. Let's go and take a look at what he has to say.
Malicious actors like to follow hot topics, and thanks to Elon Musk, Twitter has now become a very common target for phishing campaigns. Recent phishing campaigns are now using Twitter verification as a lure to convince victims to provide their Twitter credentials. The attacks send an email to verified users to inform them that there is a problem with the account, encouraging the victims to click a check notifications button that takes them to a fake logon page where their user credentials are then harvested.
So, all right, so we've talked about this many times on our letters segment, right? About clicking on phishing.
Yep.
All right, so this one is an email that is being sent from a Google account. All right, for Twitter. Google account, it links to a Google Doc, and it also links to another Google site. Why in the world are you clicking on a link to change your Twitter passwords and your account management when it comes to you from a Google account?
Are you asking me that question, or are you just sort of being
I
rhetorical
kind
right
of asked that up in the air. Why would you do that?
Because in times like this, even though this seems like a very simple problem, it gets people up in arms.
Okay.
Right? And anytime we feel some sort of threat, we react to it in some way. So that type of email coming through, people are going to focus more on the threat than on where that threat is coming from.
Okay, but if you're having problems and you're getting an email verification for Twitter, and it comes to you from Google,
we're talking about a lot of So we're getting bombarded with everything Elon's doing, which is why I asked that question in the first place. Why are we talking about Elon all the time? He's been in the news now for forever, and he's always creating these issues, right? So everybody knows what happens. If I get an email from Twitter, and Twitter is something that I use regularly to, say, make money on, I'm going to be much more attuned to that threat than where it's coming from. Because where it's coming from doesn't make a difference when the threat system is activated.
Now, the one thing is, if you do have dual authentication enabled, we talked about this, Nick talks about this, everybody should have, for every one of their social media accounts, dual authentication enabled, which essentially gives you an alert on your phone or a device that says, hey, someone's trying to log into your account. Get that taken care of, because the simple Google account will not work if you have dual factor authentication.
Oh, darn it.
All right, there you go.
I haven't gotten one.
Yeah, neither have I. So I'm not a very big
Probably
active
because
Twitter.
I don't have a verified account.
Well, we're going to talk about how you can get a verified account.
I'm not going to pay any money to get a verified account either. So
we'll be talking about that in our segment. What we found on the web, buddy. All right, here you go. You're up next.
That's a threat to me.
All right, story number 2.
Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, we talked about a Cambridge study that was talking about AI in relation to these emotion detection sort of things that companies are using to hire people.
Yep.
Well, the folks over in the UK have increased their game in this arena and are warning companies that using these biometric technologies to analyze emotion are probably not something they should do.
Okay.
So the The ICO, which is the Information Commissioner's Office in the UK, has placed this out because they're worried that organizations are making a critical decision about people without appreciating that the scientific backing for these programs are mostly non-existent. That they're based on ideas rather than actual scientific theory or fact. The deputy commissioner, Stephen Bonner, told the BBC News that the worst tech was little better than fortune-telling fish. Now, this brings into something that's not very American, but apparently over there they have Christmas crackers that have these little fish in them that supposedly tell your fortune, and he was relating that to that. But the problem is that this, and we know this because this is happening, we've talked about this so many times on the show, that these types of systems do create systemic bias, inaccuracy, and even outright discrimination because their AI is faulty. So the problem is that this biometric information is based on physical and behavioral characteristics such as facial movement, heartbeat, and stuff. And we've talked about this many, many times over the years.
Yep.
This is one of my favorite topics to talk about. There's no robust link between people's inner emotions and intent and the expression on their face or the sweat.
Okay.
And this is the same problem that is with the polygraph. That's why polygraphs cannot be used as evidence in court cases, because the polygraph does not measure whether you are telling the truth or telling the lie. It measures emotional responses, and then somebody interprets that as something.
Okay.
Right. So basically, the ICO says, hey, if you go out and buy this technology without any evidence that's actually working, and there's harm done to individuals, we are coming to get you.
So if you say you have a technology, you don't have proof the technology is working, you use it to make a decision within your organization, and now they're saying that if that's your decision-making tool set, using these type of algorithms to make your decision, you can be now liable as you would be making a normal decision.
Correct.
In those processes.
And we're finding this over and over and over again. That's what the Cambridge study showed. We've talked about this in other formats.
It's kind of good to have that, though, isn't it? I mean, that's kind of the first step of saying if you're going to use AI to make decisions, whether that's a job decision or a promotion decision, and there's faultiness in it. Before, it was just kind of, well, go blame the computer. There's nothing we can do about it. Now they're actually going to hold them accountable.
Well, yeah, I think the problem here is that humans don't know enough about human behavior in order to really predict things. I mean, I study this all the time. I can't even say that I'm good enough to know what is always going on in somebody's head just by what I can only make inferences. And what we're trying to do is program this
right now.
And most of these people, now you're. I know exactly what you're thinking. That's because I hang out with you.
Okay.
At any rate, what they're doing is they're having people who don't really understand human behavior. They're taking this stuff off the internet and trying to program their AI to match this baseline material, which then does not translate well into the program, and then the program does its learning thing, and then it starts to do what we've seen AI do over and over and over again,
which is make mistakes,
which is make a ton of mistakes, which leads to discrimination and bias. So
that's why Terminator 2 isn't going to happen. They're just not advanced enough yet.
Yeah, sure.
That's right.
Why, yeah. Well, I don't know why we have to keep making movie references, but it doesn't mean that all biometrics.
I didn't go to Star Trek.
Yes, you just did.
Well, okay.
It doesn't mean that biometrics in and of itself aren't bad, but it's what they need to be used for.
All right.
It's like opening up your phone with your fingerprint. That's a quality way of using biometrics. But having your phone detect what your emotion is by taking pictures of your face while you're talking on it, that doesn't really work.
Gotcha. All right, we're going to go to story number 3. Google Hangouts is finally ready to die. We're going to check out our Google expert, David Brash.
Google Classic Hangouts is going away. Yes, that IM app, the instant messaging app that a lot of us have been using for a long time, it's going away and it's being replaced by Google Chat. This is more than just a name change. We know that Google does a lot of stuff with name changing, but this is actually a completely separate app, and honestly, I believe it's an upgrade. You will have the option to use chat either integrated into your Gmail or as a separate app.
All right, so Google Hangouts. You remember the whole Google Plus? It was kind of the competitor of Facebook. It came in like a wave.
I don't know.
And
There's been so
disappeared.
many Google Pluses and plus this and plus that. I don't even know what plus
They were the
on
first.
anymore.
Google Plus was the first. That was their social media network. So it went kaput. A part of that was Google Hangouts was an off branch of that. The ability to have a one messaging service that you could chat, have voicemail, have everything
Well, I know
integrated.
a lot of people use it.
So that's going away. And what Google's doing is they're essentially taking out of the voice over IP phones and the standard communications in there and moving back just to a chat type of tool so they can compete with their rivals Facebook on WhatsApp. So this new Google Chat is a WhatsApp competitor that is now being launched to the market.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Yeah.
we're trying
Everybody's copying everybody.
Well, we're trying to figure out a way to get rid of it. All right. Well, you have until the end of this year to close out all of your upgrades for your Google Hangouts, and then after that, it will just disappear in the middle of the night. All right. That was our segments today. Up next, we have our Technology Insider with our guest, Howie Zales, founder of HJZ Productions. He's an Emmy Award-winning camera operator who turned his passion for television broadcasting into several entrepreneurial endeavors. We'll be back in a moment to give you this information. You're listening to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's happening?
Did you know for every $1 spent on email marketing, you receive $36 in return? That's pretty awesome, right?
Yeah.
But it's all so complicated. All those advanced tools and features, you don't know how to approach them at all.
What if there was an email marketing platform where you don't have to rack your brains to get started? A tool that's not overloaded with unnecessary features you don't want to pay for, and, believe it or not, has a support team available 24/7, even on the free plan.
There is a solution, Mike. Let me introduce you to Sellsy, a tool that makes email marketing as easy as 1, 2, 3. With Sellsy, you can launch your first campaign in 15 minutes. No coding required. A very easy to use, intuitive email builder with over 300,000 gifts and stickers to choose from and 500,000 plus free stock images, a customizable countdown timer, and more. Create emails for any business goal, from e-commerce to nonprofits. Easily create automated email sequences for your business.
Get 24/7 support via chat, email, and phone, even on the free plan. Sellsy has just launched a special deal. You can now get a lifetime access to all Sellsy features for just $49. All the core features, unlimited emails, automation, segmentation, advanced analytics for the price of 10 lattes.
Sellsy is the easiest way to start selling with emails. Try it now. Click the link in this episode description on TechTime Radio to get that special deal.
No commissions or hidden fees.
To learn more information, visit them at the simple and easy site to remember. Just go and visit Sellsy.com. That's SELZY.com. The easiest way to send emails.
Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. Tech Time Radio is a weekly hour technology show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. Brought to you by myself, Nathan Mumm, and Mike Day. We just had our first whiskey tasting during the break, and now let me tell you about what we're sipping on our pick of the day. During the show today, we have chosen the Clyde Made's Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 92 proof, $37.95 for a 750 milliliter bottle. This is Clyde Made is mainly known for their Alabama-style whiskey, distinguished by its flavor with green apples in the barrel, reviewed on our show just 2 weeks ago. Their Clyde May Straight Bourbon, though, seeks to find a place on the shelves also, with whiskey drinkers who prefer their whiskey unadulterated. You get dried orchard fruits on the nose of the spice palate, and some people can even taste a little hint of peach cobbler. A full and smooth choice is the selection here. It's distilled in Kentucky, classification bourbon. It's undisclosed on the aging, but it is estimated 4 to 5 years, 92 proof. What do you think of this so far, Mike?
So far, so good. It's very tasty.
Very tasty. Do you like it a little bit better than the Alabama style 2 weeks ago?
I don't recall what I gave.
I think you gave it a thumbs up, but I don't think you were as big of a fan.
Yeah, I think that was fairly boring.
Okay, all right.
But this has a nice taste. It's got a initial bite that I'm not a huge fan of the bite, but it smooths out really well and has a very good finish.
We'll see how long we leave it out here in the air. Maybe it will open up the taste and flavor a little later for the show. All right. Well, now that we got our whiskey out of the way, we have our technology expert, Howie Zales, the founder of HJZ Productions. He's an Emmy Award-winning camera operator who's turned his passion for television broadcasting into several endeavors. Let's welcome Howie to our video stream to start our next segment.
Technology Insider. We get the information directly from the source.
All right, Howie, welcome to the show. Glad to have you on. I know that we talked a couple weeks back, and this should be an exciting breadth of information regarding technology and filming. So we got lots of questions to get at. Where are you joining us from currently right now?
Thanks for having me. I'm from New York, just outside New York City. I forgot my whiskey. I'm sorry about that.
Oh no!
Oh no!
We're gonna have to do something else.
Well, we're gonna have to do no. We're not gonna change our whiskey. Okay, we'll tell you that if you haven't tried the Clyde Maze, it's a pretty good bourbon straight up.
So far, so good.
Yeah, I think it may get a thumbs up from me. So there we go. All right. Excellent. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. You've been a cameraman for some very interesting events. Tell us about some of these events.
Yeah, I've been a camera operator for NBC Sports and the World Wrestling Entertainment, WWE, almost 25 years. I've shot Super Bowls, Kentucky Derbies, Olympics, and just about every sporting event you can possibly imagine.
Every sporting event. The Olympics. Well, how many Olympics have you done, Howie?
About 7.
Were you at the Beijing China Olympics?
I was at the Beijing Summer Olympics, not the most recent one.
Okay, but the Summer Olympics. Okay, cool. I was there also on a work type of deal. So that was China was a very interesting way that they hosted the Olympics, unlike any place else I've ever seen. So they cleaned up everything, and that was the only city I've ever been to that built houses and built these huge megaplexes with nobody in them. Yeah. As you would go down the street, you'd have these beautiful buildings, these windows, and you'd walk up to it, and there's like no plumbing inside of it. All it was
just Western facades.
Yeah, all it was a big building itself. But okay, continuing on. Howie, have you ever had any mishaps with all these filming deals that you've done? And if you have one or two that you'd share with us, we would love to hear about that.
Yeah, first one I think was I was shooting a Mets game at Shea Stadium before they moved to Citi Field, and I was doing a camera on the third base side. My responsibility was to shoot the runner on second, but you're always taught to kind of watch the pitch. So I was looking kind of to my right at the batter's box and the pitch. Next thing I know, I wake up in the hospital. I got a line drive right on the right side, right top side of my head, right on off the bat.
Wow.
And the funny part of that story is that because I was shooting the runner on second, when I got hit, I fell backwards into the Colorado Rockies dugout. So my camera panned over as I fell backwards and landed on the pitcher's mound. They used my camera 3 times because a pitcher was walking around the mound while they were attending to me in the dugout. On the 4th time, he walked off the mound onto the grass, and I didn't pan with him because I'm half dead. Yeah. And the TV truck starts yelling at me, camera 5, pan. Finally word got back to the truck that it was me that got hit in the head. But this is all told to me, of course, after the fact. After the fact,
I can see that. Hey, camera 5, what we got? What's going on there, camera 5? You're laying out, passed out, and they're not going. All right, you got any? That's a great story. Any other great stories filming?
Yeah, I've gotten hit on the NFL sideline, and I did Notre Dame football with NBC for 20 years. I ended up with a concussion on the Notre Dame sideline.
Maybe you should just participate in the sport.
So was your footage? I mean, if they're coming after you, right, and you're on the sideline, and someone runs into you, does that footage still get used? Was it used during the game?
They definitely used it. And then someone sent me someone from the NBC team in the replay room, put the replay of all 12 cameras, sent me a DVD at the time.
Okay. All right.
That's something you want to take out on a party.
Yeah, I was watching Monday Night Football game last night, right? And there's this guy holding the big cone. I think it's for audio that they hold this big cone for, right?
Parabolic.
Yeah, so he's got this big deal, and he just gets blown up, right? Literally flips over. The player comes
lateral
to the sideline,
damage, buddy.
and I'm just like, man, just think of you could have your Achilles ruptured just by holding this big ball up on the sideline versus a player there. All right, well, those are great stories there. Let's move on, though, and talk about your company. Your company does streaming and video capturing. Tell us a little bit about what your production company does and its main core business.
Yeah, so Veridity Entertainment, VES, we provide live broadcast quality live stream productions, whether it's sporting events, talk shows, concerts, anything entertainment, down to corporate events and meetings. We do a ton of, town hall corporate meetings that have a in-person audience and a global virtual audience. So we handle the production of the entire process.
All right, so this is a question I get all the time I have an argument. What is more important in production? Is it lighting? Is it sound? Or is it video? If you have to choose one of those, when you're doing a shoot and you're setting up everything, what is the most important for you to do?
Audio, and it's the most difficult.
Okay, it's audio. Okay, and why would you say that?
Because the picture is no good without the audio. Okay. And although the lighting might stink and the person may be dark, as long as you can hear them, you can still get your point across.
Okay.
The information needs to flow.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's a great thing
and
to know.
Audio is the most difficult part of the production, without a doubt.
Yeah, I believe that.
All right, so the holidays are coming on up, right? So we got Thanksgiving. We just went through Halloween. We got Thanksgiving and Christmas. What are some tricks or tips that you would do for streaming video or taking a picture at that good old family celebration that you have?
Yeah, good question. First of all, don't tell any audio guys I told them that audio is most important.
Okay, I won't do that because my other guy will say lighting's the most important that I know of. He's always it's all about lighting. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, I always tell people if you're trying to, let's start with a picture, right? If you're trying to take a picture first, make sure that the background, especially if you're inside, is not glass windows with the sun coming through, and because you'll never get a proper exposure on the face. And if you're outside, you want to use the sun as your light source. Again, never shoot with the sun to the back of the individuals or subject that you're shooting, because then it'll be dark. So just turn them around and use the sun as your light source.
So have them look into
the opposite of the Western gunslinger.
So essentially you have them look into the sun. Is that right? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And sometimes if you're trying to take a picture, I've used instead of using the flash on an iPhone or another mobile device, I have one phone where I'll turn the light on so the light is constant, and I'll use another phone as the camera to take the picture.
Oh, that's a great tip. Because I always have two phones on. I got my personal phone and my work phone. So you're saying have the light on.
I understand that because, I'm trying to take pictures of, like I was trying to take a picture of the backside of my television.
Yep. Because you got a brand new television.
Because I got a brand new television.
Okay.
And I kept messing up the photo because the flash.
The flash.
Yeah.
That's a good
flash
tip.
Kills it.
So you grab your friends, your neighbors, have one of them to have the flashlight so it's nice and bright, and have the other one that does that. Okay, great. You know what?
Yeah.
That may save me some. Doesn't mean the person I'm taking a picture of looks any better, but at least I'll now see them. That's right.
Maybe we should talk about audio or something.
Okay, all right. So let's talk about streaming service. Your company does streaming services.
Yeah.
What makes your company different than standard streaming services? What makes it different than maybe a Zoom call or a Microsoft Teams call where they have compressed video and audio? Tell us a little difference in yours.
Great question. We, first of all, as you said, the quality of some of those other platforms that you mentioned is not the best. We offer the software we use is broadcast quality software. We can handle, our computers can handle as many camera inputs as the clients need and audio inputs. And we have two different styles of production. One, if it's all virtual, we have 25 high-end laptops, high-def cameras, professional microphones, Ethernet cables, ring lights, and we send these contributor kits out. And since it's our equipment, as soon as it hits the internet, we get notification of it. We can go into the computer, focus the camera, change the color temperature of the camera, control the audio locally first before it even hits the internet, and just bring a total controlled atmosphere to a production. Now, conversely, if we're on site doing a big corporate meeting, we can show up with, up to 4K cameras or just high def cameras. And the quality of production that we bring, our broadcast can air on TV.
Yeah, that can be cool.
Yeah.
That is important. What's that?
Yeah, I was going to suggest maybe you want to hire Howie there for your production.
For my production stuff? Yeah, maybe we have Howie come and do all of our kits, and then they can send them out into the remote fields and does our production. That'd be better than the Nathan Mumm Adobe Premiere late at night on Tuesdays and Wednesdays nights, re-editing and merging audio.
And drinking a lot of liquor.
That's right. Okay. All right. So, Howie, tell us how can people learn more about you? How can they get in touch with you? What's a good way to contact with you after the show?
Yeah, at Howard Zales on LinkedIn. My website, HowieZales.com, has our family of businesses, all different all websites are located there, HowieZales.com.
All right, so my last question. Are you a Jets or a Giants fan?
Only because of how I grew up. I think Giants.
Okay, so as a Seattle Seahawk individual, I just want to say we're sorry that Gino had to show up this weekend and your poor Giants got a loss while they're out here in Seattle, but I'm sure they will do fine the rest of the year. So there you go. That's that little jab there. Only because we won. If we would have lost, I would have never said anything about that at all.
Right.
But that's great. Okay. Howie, thank you so much for joining the show. Hopefully we'll touch base with you at a later time.
Congratulations on your 125th show. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Howie.
Right.
Have a nice evening.
That ends our segment, Technology Insider, with Howie Zales. Up next, we have This Week in Technology. So now would be a great time to enjoy a little whiskey on the side, as we'll be doing so during the break. You're listening to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm. See you in a few minutes.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of turbo debt?
No, what is that? Something to get me into debt faster?
No, turbo debt is not to get you in debt faster. It's to help you get out of debt. Do you have over $10,000 in credit card, personal loans, medical, or payday loans?
Of course I have debt. That's the American way.
Au contraire, mon frere. Turbo debt will give you the option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
Over 70% of Americans die with credit card debt. Do not let this happen to you. Turbo debt will give you an option to break the debt cycle and start putting money in your pocket.
That's awesome.
If you have over $10,000 in credit card debt and personal loans, medical, or payday loans, they can help. Go to turbodebt.com/TechTime. Again, that's turbodebt.com/TechTime, all capitalized, for a free consultation today. TurboDebt is a proud sponsor of this week's episode of TechTime Radio.
And now, let's look back at this week in technology.
All right, we're going back to November 2nd, 1988. Robert Morris of Cornell University launches a self-replicating worm as part of a research project designed to determine the size of the early internet. It was intended to count the number of computers that initiated connections when the worm was loaded onto them. However, due to a programming error, the Morris worm began to repeat and infect machines, clogging the network traffic and causing machines to crash. Eventually, the worm spread to 6,000 machines, which was roughly 10% of the internet at the time, causing significant downtime for government and university systems for 2 full days. Kind of like a meta outage, right? Okay, so, all right, Morris
Really?
was dismissed from Cornell, sentenced to 3 years probation and a $10,000 fine for this ingenuitive
Is this
idea.
That's not a word.
That's not a word for I'm just
ingenious.
ingenious
How about it?
idea
Okay.
that went bad. But all was not lost. Robert later joined the faculty of the Department of the Electronic Engineering and Computer Science at Massachusetts Institute of Technology,
Just
which
say
is now
MIT.
known
Just say MIT.
MIT, where he received tenure in 2006, and he was elected to the National Academy of Engineering in 2019.
Yeah, there's your comeback story right there.
Yeah, so you know what? All that ends well, or all that goes well, ends well.
Well, you're really
You know what?
struggling today, aren't you?
I've had a lot of this.
All's well that ends well.
The little Clyde maze.
Maybe
here.
you need to have some more Clyde maze.
There you go. Okay. Well, this was that. That was This Week in Technology.
Okay.
Have you ever wanted to watch some Tech Time history? With over 2 years of video, podcast, and blog information, you can visit TechTime.radio.com to watch our older shows or join the Tech Timers Facebook group to talk with us live all the time. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we have Marc's Mumble's whiskey review and a special What We Found on the Web, all about Twitter and Mr. Elon Musk. We'll see you after the break.
TechTime Radio is brought to you today by Nutility, the platform that makes utility management seamless by selecting your service providers, splitting a single bill amongst roommates, and then shutting off your service when it's time for you to move out. Nutility reviews your preferences and sets up all the utilities for you. This provides you with the best local provider in your service area. It's much easier than splitting up your bills between roommates. No more late Larry not being able to get to you on time to make the payments, and no more Venmo charges or PayPal charges. One place to do your billing so that everybody pays on time. Now, how can you use this great service from Nutility, you ask? Aha! Well, you can absolutely get it now and get 3 months for free. That's correct. If you go to Nutility.com, again, it kind of sounds like utility, but it's Nutility.com. Use the tech code 3, and again, that's NUTILITI.com. Get your first 3 months for free using the code TECH3. From experts in technology to an expert in whiskey. Now is our segment for you whiskey connoisseurs. Welcome to the Marc Mumble of the Week.
All right, Marc, thanks for the mumble. We are excited to talk about all of our information today. Do you know what today is?
What's today?
Today, what is a common...
National Ham Day?
No, not yet.
Okay.
What is a common flavor in many whiskeys, especially Jim Beam whiskeys? Do you know what it is?
Caramel.
Nope, it's cinnamon. November 1st is the National Cinnamon Day, and we are excited to be celebrating one of the world's ancient spices that have been around for more than 4,000 years.
Maybe I should go home and celebrate with some fireballs.
So there you that would be a great idea. All right. Well, we discussed in Marc's Mumble, as I said, we discussed 2 weeks ago about Clyde May's son bringing back this whiskey legally based on the moonshine's father's legacy. However, much like his father, the apple did not fall far from the tree. Kenny was charged with producing liquor without a license, possession of liquor in a dry county, and selling to minors, in which he pled guilty for in charges and passed away in 2016. Ownership passed on to Spirits Acquisition Corp. In Dallas, Texas, and a reorganized company in Canooch Ridge Distillery decided that they would essentially engage and buy the business, including the L.C. Mays grandson of the original Clyde Mays, as he joined the company as a brand ambassador to try to continue the family tradition. There you go.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. That's your Marc's Mumble of the Week.
I'm still stuck on American Cinnamon Day.
It was National Cinnamon
Day.
I don't know where Marc is to those.
I don't know. Every day is a day now.
It does.
Everybody has a day.
Everybody has something out there, all right? Well, thank you, Marc. We're going to now move on to our next segment, all about Twitter.
What we found on the web.
All right, let's talk about Twitter.
All right, this has been a technology news reporter dream week in the purchase of Twitter from Elon Musk. All right.
Yeah, he finally bought.
All right. Elon Musk and the reality show called Twitter has so much that's happened in the last 5 days that we're just going to have to talk about a bunch of these different items. All right. So Elon Musk confirmed that he is now Twitter's new CEO, as the regulatory filing signed his name as the chief executive officer.
Yeah, he now calls himself Chief Twit.
So yeah, that is his little nickname. You see that online? Yep. He's called the Chief Twit. It's only been a few days since Elon acquired Twitter for real, but it already feels like so much longer than we anticipated, since we've seen the top execs fired, bad sync puns, Musk casually spitballing over whether or not to bring back Vine with Mr. Beast, and the possible introduction of a $20 a month fee to keep your little blue checkmark intact.
Woohoo!
Now, Elon Musk, who owns Twitter, says that he's officially taken the reins as the CEO for the moment. He has not made any changes into his process or policies of how Twitter is being done at this time. So he hasn't changed what you can post, any of their processes or policies. But he is definitely the chief executive officer with the filings. Now, this comes along with him removing the CEO, Parag Agrawal, and cleaning house of everybody else on the board.
He got rid of the entire board.
So he got rid of the entire board.
And he's the sole director chair.
That's right. So he's the king of the castle. He decided to come on in. You ever watch those old,
He is Emperor.
Camelot.
He is Emperor Palpatine. He just got rid of the Senate.
Yes, he just got rid of it. Everything's gone. He is now the person calling the shots.
There you go. There's a Star Wars reference for you.
I like that.
Instead of a Star Trek.
Is there any way we could have that on Vulcan or anything like that? No. Okay.
Go away.
Right. So now the author, Stephen King, you know who Stephen King is, right? Everybody knows that. Okay. Is pretty upset. So he decided to go out on Twitter, and he says he is not going to be paying $20 a month to keep his blue check mark. He said, F that. They should be paying me to be on Twitter. If this gets instituted, I'm going to leave like Enron. So he's going to be gone like Enron. He's
one of my favorite people. I follow him because of his sarcastic tweets about just about everything.
Just about everything?
Yeah.
So he essentially, now Musk is clearly struggling to pull off a new revenue stream, and the fear of pushing celebs off his platform responded late Monday night. He said, we need to pay for the bills somehow. Twitter cannot rely entirely on advertisers. How about $8? He sent back to Stephen King. So here's the owner of the company. Is he now negotiating how much he needs to charge for his service? I get that.
I don't know. We go through this for everything. I mean, Facebook was talking about maybe a monthly subscription at one point, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And then Twitter is coming around and saying you can be What does verified mean?
Well, verified puts a little check mark that says you're who you are.
It puts your little check mark and says this is an actual person. It's not a bot.
That's correct.
But that's his whole thing, right? His whole thing is about getting rid of the bots. So if he gets rid of all the bots, doesn't that mean everybody's verified so the check doesn't really need to happen?
Well, if he gets rid of all the bots, it's going to be very interesting because some of these people have thousands and thousands of followers. And it's interesting because he's going on in and he's hacking and slashing all the staff there. And there's a lot of staff members that were paid on Twitter to essentially create these bots and run these social media bots in itself. So all of a sudden,
they've got an Ashley Madison section of the company. Is that?
Well, you do have kind of all these fake accounts that were being ran by a section of the company. So now all of a sudden your followers are going to go from 10,000 down to 200 because all the rest of those people that were viewing these pop stars may have been fake accounts.
So I'm not a huge. I use social media because I have to for certain things, but I'm not a huge social media person.
Okay.
Isn't Twitter Blue the subscription?
So Twitter Blue is the current $4.99 a month paid subscription. It gives you the ability to undo a tweet. So if you're in that state,
so if you're Kanye,
so if you're in an area that you don't want to have a tweet out there and you want to have it taken care of, you can undo.
Or actually, Elon, I know he tweeted some things that caused some controversy.
Yeah, we're going to talk about those coming up here.
Those.
Yep, so you can do that. And it allows reader mode, and it actually allows you to have ad-free articles from the big news outlets.
Okay, but that's not the check mark.
Well, but the check mark is a part of also Twitter Blue.
Oh, okay.
So what they're going to do is they're going to kind of roll
That's probably
this.
why I don't have a check mark because I don't pay Twitter.
I wouldn't pay for Twitter, too. All right, so speaking, since you went into the next story here, essentially, did you know that Jack Dorsey, the original creator of Twitter, decided to help out his buddy Elon Musk to save him about $1 billion by rolling over his shares of Twitter into a stake in the new private company. So instead of asking for a cash out, he rolled it
back
over
into Twitter.
Yeah, so how soon until Jack Dorsey is back on the board?
You know,
it's got to be. It's got to be right there.
Everybody's making deals behind the curtain here.
It's got to be the next.
This is all behind the curtain stuff. It would not surprise me one bit if Jack Dorsey came in and either was part of the formation of the new board or was
maybe even take
actually
back operations. You can come back and even do operations.
There's no surprise there.
All right, so Dorsey and Musk are said to be friends and are have had many conversations over Twitter, even before the Tesla billionaire moved to acquire it. They have private texts that are revealed as a part of the Twitter lawsuit against Musk that essentially they have worked together in changing the overall view of Twitter. Now, continuing on, we have mass layoffs that are widely expected to hit the employees since you've already got rid of the board. And some of the
I'm thinking that maybe they are probably regretting this sort of suit action that they took.
You think so?
To make Elon buy the company after he withdrew his initial thing.
Yeah,
I think maybe they might be rejecting it because he got rid of them and is attempting to get rid of any benefits that they may have for getting fired. So,
well, Musk himself got in trouble on Sunday when he tweeted a link to an unfound allegation about a violent attack on Paul Pelosi, the husband of Democratic House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. Replying to a tweet from Hillary Clinton about the attack, Musk wrote, "There's a tiny possibility there might be more to this story than meets the eye." He included a link to an article from the Santa Monica Observer, a fringe website with history of publishing false stories.
Interesting.
He immediately removed that later since he has probably
he has Twitter Blue.
Twitter Blue, so he could have that taken care of. It's very interesting to hear.
Does he pay $4.99 a month for that Twitter Blue? You think he pays $20?
I don't think he does.
You think he's going to pay $20 for his verified?
No, I think he's probably got some master account.
Okay.
Well, in the end, Musk says that there will be no changes to Twitter's moderation policy, and it's going to be super clear on anybody's accounts that have been taken away previously. He said anybody suspended for minor or dubious reasons will be freed from Twitter jail. The comedy
does that include?
What's that?
The former president.
I'm
Trump?
sure that does include him too. So is the comedy now at Twitter?
Is Kanye back on Twitter?
No, he's got Parler. Remember, he's not.
Well, he got suspended from Twitter, and then he got reinstated,
and Instagram,
and then he got banned again, didn't he?
I don't know. I can't keep up with them. I'm sure they're all back there now, though. Okay, well, up next we have our technology fail of the week, brought to you by Elderberry Boost. Get your Elderberry Boost today at elderberry-boost.com.
We are out of time. Congratulations, you're a failure.
Oh, I failed, did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
Did I?
Yes.
All right. This week's...
Let's move over. Let's
What's
move
that?
over from Twitter. Take the attention off of Twitter for a minute.
This week's fail comes to us from Meta. The once powerful Facebook company had problems with its chat app WhatsApp last week, so why not have this week be Instagram?
What happened?
Was Meta actually hacked? Probably last week it was. And they're probably still dealing with some of these bugs because Instagram essentially now is telling users that their accounts are suspended. Instagram users across the world have been reporting issues across their profiles. The Meta-owned social network says it's looking into the problem, which has caused some people to be told they are suspended from the platform.
You want to hear something interesting?
What's that?
I found out about this on Twitter.
Did you find out about this on Twitter?
Yes.
Down Detector, which monitors site outages, says that it has found that thousands of users are affected. Some of them have shown a message saying that their accounts have been shut down for 30 days. A tweet from the official Instagram communication account said, "We are aware of the issues at this time and are working to resolve the issues to access your Instagram account." Don't look for an apology or an inconvenience. You may have hundreds to thousands of users that are dropped from your Instagram account that may then all of a sudden reappear in the coming weeks as they continue to provide their services.
Yeah, I guess if you're on Instagram making money, this probably hits
It's a
you
big
right.
deal.
Yeah.
So the question's out.
This is one of the problems that you have with using these formats for your virtual business. So.
For your virtual business. Yep. So next week, are we going to be talking about Facebook being down?
I don't know.
That's their last platform. We got WhatsApp and Instagram. So
I don't
next
know.
one,
Facebook's having its own problems. So
so
I mean, Meta as a whole is
it's a
struggling
train wreck.
right now.
It's just as bad as Twitter right now, I think.
I don't think it's as bad as Twitter. It's
Okay.
just, I mean, they've lost 50% of their revenue.
They have.
Twitter has not had that problem yet.
Correct. They're not
They're
dipping into the well to
they're just
support them.
becoming a part of the Elon Musk empire.
All right, well, we're going to head out to our last commercial break. When we return, we have Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, brought to us by StoriCoffee, and a possible Nathan Nugget of the Week.
Oh, by the way, I got all my coffee.
Oh, did you?
I got 8 boxes of coffee.
Yeah, that's ready to go. Okay, well, sit back, raise the glass. You're listening to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm.
How to See a Man About a Dog. It combines darkly comic short stories, powerful poems, and pulp fiction prose to create a heartbreaking and hilarious journey readers will not soon forget. Read How to See a Man About a Dog, collected writings, for free with Kindle Unlimited. Ebook available on Kindle, print copies available on Amazon The Bookpository, and more.
This is Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com.
All right.
Yeah, what's your question today?
So my question is, what motivates these people? Elon Musk, and what makes that person go on in, get rid of everybody? What is that motivational factor in that?
Man, that's kind of a loaded question because we can talk about what may motivate him, but we don't actually know.
Okay.
But let's take a look at some of this stuff. So he comes in, Elon Musk needs control.
Okay.
He has shown over and over and over again that he is in control. He makes sure that everybody knows he's in control, and this is probably part of that. This is probably part of that pathology.
Okay.
He comes in, he buys this company, he gets rid of everybody who has either opposed him or could possibly oppose him. Now, this is not something new. This is something that a lot of people do when they take over.
Caesars did this back in the time, right?
Caesar probably tried to do this. Most people who take over something, they do what's called a house cleaning.
Okay.
They get rid of all the people that they find are threats. And again, I talked about this earlier. It's about the threat. And so we know that Elon is seriously. He also has a lot of big ideas that a lot of people don't think are possible.
Yep.
And like many people who believe it's possible, that can take on a grandiose sort of thing. I'm not saying that this necessarily narcissistic in function, but this is a behavior of narcissism, is these grandiose ideas.
Okay.
And so he is used to being this sort of larger than life character. It's not unusual to see people like this who find threatening others or find that they can get rid of people who they feel threaten them. And ultimately, that sort of calls into a very deep insecurity.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Mike. Hey, let's see if we can get a little bit of this Nathan Nugget of the Week.
What are you going to rant about?
This is your Nugget of the Week.
All right. So
rant
Windows
away,
10.
rant away.
Okay, we talked about this last night at our production meeting, right? Windows 10 is upgrading to version 22H2, which is now available.
Yeah, 22H2.
Okay. So they have different numbering systems. But do you realize you don't have to upgrade to Windows 11? Right now, with this new version that's out there, this is going to be supported through the end of 2025.
So, like I pointed out, they took Windows 10, said they're not supporting it anymore. They're going to run with Windows 11, and now that Windows 11 is probably this sort of like, I hate you.
Yep.
They're going back and saying, okay, we're going to go back and we're going to improve Windows 10 with some of the Windows 11 features, and then we're going to support that.
That makes sense. Yep.
Right,
So
convinced.
this is what you need to do. Don't upgrade. Keep Windows 10. All right, our pick of the day here.
It's
we
just
have
that simple, huh?
It is that simple.
Okay.
Clyde Mays Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 92 proof, $37.95. Thumbs up or thumbs down, Mike?
Thumbs up.
Mr.
like
Miller,
it.
what'd you think of it?
Thumbs up is a disgrace drinking it out of a paper cup.
Yeah, he didn't have a...
You didn't have to say that
you
on
didn't
the
have
air,
to say
man.
that. That's
What the
all right.
hell?
Okay, I gave it a thumbs up also. It was great whiskey. This is going to be sitting on my top shelf at home. All right, always remember, we love hearing from our listeners. You can send us email. And remember, the science of tomorrow starts with the technology of today.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to TechTimeRadio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.